I once believed that thinking about money must always carry a heavy heart. I recall vividly one crisp autumn afternoon. Sarah, an American woman in her 40s, sat quietly on the front steps of her home. Her hands cradled her head, and her eyes stared blankly into the distance. She had just lost her third job in 2 years. Bills had mounted high, and her bank account showed a mere $27. But what pressed upon her chest wasn't just financial burden, it was the weight of hopelessness. Through tears she cried, "I've done everything right. Why am I still poor?" We are taught that diligent saving and effort will lead to abundance. But perhaps you too have discovered this is not the whole truth. There is something deeper that governs the flow of money in your life, and it does not reside in the outer world, but in the inner, your thoughts, your beliefs, and the words you speak daily. Life is not a battle, it is a game. And you can learn how to win. So said Florence Scovel Shinn, a pioneer of spiritual law. She taught that prosperity does not come from strain, but from the knowledge of divine law, the reordering of consciousness, and the power of the spoken word. Sarah learned this, and you can too. After 90 days of applying Florence's principles, Sarah's life transformed. She opened a small bakery, sustained herself, and more importantly, was no longer afraid of money. She realized wealth is not in someone else's hands. It begins with belief within. Today you are invited to discover the same. Together we will uncover the subconscious beliefs about money that may be silently steering your life. Recognize the divine power of your words to open the gates of abundance. Practice the very affirmations Florence used to help thousands rewrite their financial destiny, not through effort, but through awakening. If you've ever felt trapped in money matters, no matter how hard you tried, worried each time you checked your account, whispered to yourself, "I'm not enough," or "I can't," then this video is a gentle call for your awakening. Because Florence didn't just speak of the law of attraction, she revealed deeper, timeless spiritual laws you can live by. You don't need more financial education. You don't need to earn more to feel safe. You simply need to reclaim the authority over your thoughts and your words. In the next part, I will share 10 timeless principles Florence used to help thousands of people just like Sarah step out of the illusion that money is difficult and into the river of divine supply. Be willing to release every old belief Florence said and declare with confidence, "I was born to live in ease, fullness, and freedom." Let's begin. Money is not the goal. It is simply a reflection of what you truly believe you deserve. Let's be honest with ourselves. Have you ever felt like money is always a battle? You wake up, rush through your day, cut expenses, recalculate your budget, and quietly hope that your account doesn't dip below zero at the end of the month. You've tried dozens of financial strategies, but deep inside there's always an undercurrent of quiet worry. You're not alone. I remember a conversation with Mark, a successful entrepreneur in his 50s. He shared that for the first 20 years of his career, he believed, "If I just do enough, I'll have enough." Yet even as his income multiplied tenfold, the feeling of scarcity remained. One night after signing the biggest contract of his life, he came home, sat in silence at his empty dinner table, and wept not from joy, but from the ache of realization, "I've spent my whole life chasing something my heart never truly felt was real." That's when he discovered the teachings of Florence Scovel Shinn. The root issue isn't money, it's belief. We live in a society deeply imprinted with a kind of collective programming. Money is hard to make. Rich people are greedy. You must work yourself to exhaustion to deserve anything. Phrases like "money doesn't grow on trees," or "we can't afford" that are not just casual words. They are subconscious codes. And once these codes are embedded, often from childhood, they silently run the show. They cause you to reject, delay, or unconsciously sabotage the very abundance that's trying to flow into your life. Florence called this collective hypnotism. You don't need to chase money. You need to raise your frequency. Florence taught that money doesn't exist out there. It exists within your vibrational field. And what creates that field? Your thoughts and your words. Each time you say, "I don't have enough," you're not merely thinking, you're issuing a command to the universe. The universe doesn't judge or analyze, it responds. That's why Florence emphasized, your word is your wand. Use it to summon, not to flee. Jasmine, a single mother of 3 in Texas, once juggled 3 jobs to stay afloat. One night, in desperation, she stumbled upon a video of Florence's morning affirmations. Skeptical but willing, she began each day saying, I am a channel for divine abundance. Money comes to me with ease and grace, like the breath I breathe. She whispered it while washing dishes, driving her kids to school, lying in bed at night. 3 weeks later, she was invited to interview for a management role, the first in 5 years. 6 weeks later, she secured a full-time job close to home, paying twice her previous income. But what mattered most, she said, I no longer feel small around money. I know I am worthy. Florence wrote, circumstances are not real. They are only reflections of your inner belief. That means when you see a bill, don't respond with fear. Respond with faith. When your account is low, don't despair. See it for what it is, a mirror. And you can change the reflection by changing the belief. If you're beginning this journey, know that we are walking beside you. Comment below, I am ready to open my heart to prosperity. Join this YouTube community where we read, reflect and rise together in the spirit of Florence. In the next part, we'll explore the very first technique Florence passed on the power of the spoken word and how to use it to shift your reality in the most miraculous way. Don't go anywhere. The next few minutes may forever transform how you speak, think and relate to money. By your words you are justified. By your words you are bound. And by your words you are set free. Florence Scovel Shinn. Words aren't just sounds. They are creative forces. Have you ever considered that the sentences you whisper in your mind each day, like, I'm not good with money, or this month's going to be tight again, are programming your entire energetic field? Florence taught that every word we speak is a command to the subconscious, an obedient servant that doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you fear. It listens, it records, and it manifests. Michael, a freelance musician in California, struggled financially after the pandemic. His inner dialogue repeated, no one pays for music anymore. Florence would have called this a negative affirmation, affirming what he didn't want. After a friend introduced him to your word is your wand, Michael changed his daily phrase to, I am a musician of the divine. There are always hearts open to receive my music with joy. Within 2 months, he was invited to perform at 4 spiritual and meditation events, earning more in those weeks than the entire previous year. He didn't work more. He simply changed his words. A Japanese study by Dr. Masaru Emoto showed that water responds to words. When positive words like love and thank you were placed near water, its frozen crystals formed stunning, intricate patterns. But when exposed to words like hate or fool, the water formed chaotic, distorted shapes. And your body, it's over 70% water. Imagine the impact of your daily self-talk. Florence warned that many people unknowingly create difficult realities by repeating phrases such as, I guess I'm just not lucky. Money always slips through my fingers. I hate dealing with money. Each of these is a kind of verbal spell. The more you say them, the deeper they anchor, and they begin to fulfill themselves. Instead, Florence offered us positive affirmations, powerful words to recode your subconscious and harmonize with abundance. You may choose 1 or 2 to say daily. I have a magical work. In a magical way, I give magical service for magical pay. I am a clear channel for divine financial flow. I do not chase money. I align with the infinite supply. I trust that what I need is on its way on time in perfect ways. You don't need to chant them like a robot. Speak them with faith, vision, and feeling. Your words aren't mere sound, they are vibrational intent. And if speaking affirmations alone feels hard, come join us. Comment below, I choose my words to shape a new destiny. And if you have a favorite affirmation, share it with us. Let's lift each other up, just as Florence lifted thousands of minds in the early 20th century. Now, you see, words aren't just for communication. They are activators of the new current in your life. So, if one sentence could shift your finances in 2 months, what would happen if you learned to observe, master, and rewire your nervous system? In the next section, we'll explore a powerful technique Florence used called CRC cancel, replace, command. A small formula that can stop the spiral of fear, rewrite limiting beliefs, and reprogram your subconscious response in the exact moment when doubt appears. You won't want to miss this. You do not have to entertain every thought you think. You have the power to choose and to command your mind to serve you. Florence Scovel Shinn. The power of consciousness. You are the captain of your ship. One of the greatest errors Florence exposed was our habit of allowing automatic thoughts to rule our emotions, our reactions, and our financial reality. We forget that we have a choice, and that choice begins with 3 simple steps. A method Florence referred to as CRC. Cancel the thought. Replace it with truth. Command the mind anew. Picture this. You check your bank account. It's lower than expected. An unexpected bill arrives. And before you know it, a voice inside whispers, "I don't have enough. Why is it always like this?" In that instant, your mind, faithful and obedient, responds to that command. It sends signals of panic. Your nervous system tightens. Heartbeat quickens. You freeze. You avoid the bill, hoping it will vanish. This is the moment to activate CRC. Step 1. Cancel. Say out loud or silently, "I cancel that thought. It no longer matches the reality I choose." It's like pressing the stop button on a song you don't want to hear. No explaining, no arguing, just stop. Step 2. Replace. Immediately fill the space with a new thought. A blank mind is an invitation for the old thought to return. Florence suggested affirmations like, "I am divinely supplied and all my needs are met right on time." Repeat it gently, slowly. Pair it with a vision, like the bill already paid, and your heart at ease. Step 3. Command. Now speak with conviction. "I direct my mind. I choose new beliefs. I choose prosperity." Speak not as one begging, but as one commanding from a place of spiritual authority. Real-life CRC examples. Example 1. Fear of not making rent. Negative thought, "I don't know how I'll get $1,500 for rent." Cancel. I cancel that fearful thought. Replace divine provision is always on time. I open to receive. Command, I summon a new flow of supply. Example 2. Settling for a job below your worth. Negative thought. Maybe I'm just not good enough to earn more. Cancel. I reject that limiting belief. Replace. My value is not defined by a title. I am worthy of the vision I hold. Command, I magnetize the opportunities that reflect my soul's worth. Science calls this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself through new thought patterns. Every time you cancel, replace, and command, you aren't just comforting yourself, you're literally creating new neural pathways. Florence didn't use scientific terms, but she grasped this truth from a spiritual lens. You are not ruled by circumstances. You rule your reactions, and your reactions shape your reality. A gentle challenge for you. For the next 7 days, every time a limiting thought about money appears, apply CRC immediately. Comment below, "I'm starting the 7-day CRC, I choose abundance." Let us walk together in this community of awakened souls who speak with intention and create with consciousness. CRC is simple, but it can break cycles that have lasted lifetimes. And once you master it, you'll find yourself reacting differently, thinking differently, living differently. So, what if you began reprogramming your subconscious every day in a sacred rhythm, morning, noon, and night? In the next part, I'll introduce you to Florence's 14-day covenant, a spiritual practice for installing a new financial frequency into your nervous system and energetic field. A real tangible journey with specific affirmations, specific timings, not just to know but to transform. Repetition is the mother of manifestation. Every time you speak a right affirmation, you are reweaving the energetic fabric of your life. Florence Scovel Shinn. Florence taught that positive thoughts do not merely need to appear, they must be nurtured, repeated and reinforced like a gentle stream, cleansing the dust of old beliefs. The 14-day cycle is no accident. It reflects the minimum neural window needed to begin reshaping thought patterns. It's like planting a seedling. The first 14 days are when the roots take hold. Only then can the sprout break through the surface. The covenant, as Florence described it, is not a test or a wish. It is a sacred agreement between you and divine consciousness. You're not dabbling, you are devoting heart and soul to a new reality. And something miraculous happens when your mind, your words, your actions and your beliefs begin to align consistently 3 times a day. When to practice: morning immediately upon waking, midday when your focus tends to waver, night just before sleep when your subconscious is most open. Core affirmation: I am a pure channel for divine prosperity. Everything I need is already prepared and flows to me with ease on time and in perfect ways. Speak it aloud, whisper it, write it, feel it. What matters most is that you don't just recite it, you tune into its vibration. Linda, 46, a mid-level manager in Chicago, found herself navigating divorce, raising 2 children, and carrying $18,000 in credit card debt. Tired of traditional financial advice, she chose something crazy. The 14-day covenant from Florence's teachings, armed with a single candle, a journal, and 10 minutes per session. On day 4, she received an unexpected $1,200 tax refund previously thought lost to filing errors. On day 9, her manager invited her to apply for a higher position, something she had never considered herself qualified for. But what moved Linda most was day 13, when her 10-year-old daughter left a note that read, "Mom, you're the strongest person I know. Thank you for always believing in the good." She wept not for the money, but for the realization that her vibration had changed and her family could feel it. A simple daily guide to your 14-day journey. Days 1 to 3. Focus on worthiness, opening to receive. Suggested affirmation: I open my heart to receive all that is mine by divine law. Days 4 to 7. Release old images of struggle, invite peace. Suggested affirmation: I release all images of lack. I choose to see the infinite supply. Days 8 to 10. Center in service and the sacred flow of giving and receiving. Suggested affirmation: I serve from the heart, and I am divinely rewarded. Days 11-14. Anchor in bold trust and the joy of your new vibration. Suggested affirmation: everything I touch turns to prosperity. You do not need to walk this path alone. We are launching the 14-day Covenant Challenge right here on this channel. Comment below, I commit to 14 days of restoring my prosperity flow. And if you'd like deeper support, check the video description for a link to join our community group where we uplift and share with one another daily. You've now learned how to break old thought loops using CRC. You've discovered how to reprogram your reality daily through Covenant. But there is one more principle Florence spoke of often, yet few truly understand: dominion. The spiritual power to rule your inner world. How do you stop being a victim of circumstances and become the one holding the keys to your energetic kingdom? In our next chapter, we'll explore the depth of spiritual dominion, where you no longer struggle to be wealthy, but naturally harmonize with the vibration of abundance as your divine inheritance. You did not come into this world to bow before circumstances. You came to have dominion through thought, through speech, and through belief. Florence Scovel Shinn. To Florence, dominion is not about controlling others, it's about mastering yourself, especially in thought and in word. When you choose your words consciously, you guide your energetic field with intention. And once you master your speech, you are no longer a victim of fate, you become a conscious creator. Begin by writing down 10 to 15 words or phrases you commonly say about money, work, or yourself. For example, I'm so worried. I'm not sure there will be enough. I feel stuck. These are your invisible codes programming your reality unconsciously. When you feel worried, replace it with trust. Whisper to yourself, I trust in divine flow. Trust is the key that opens doors that once seemed shut. Instead of saying you're lacking, declare I always have enough for what I need. Because in the eyes of the universe, you have always been whole. It simply awaits your recognition. When you feel stuck between decisions or emotions, shift your lens. I am being guided to the perfect solution. There are no dead ends, only curves in the road where intuition is needed. And instead of tensing into the belief that you must try harder, let your spirit rest in gratitude. All things come to me with ease. Florence believed the right path does not arrive through strain, but through surrender and grace. Tape your transformation list somewhere visible on your mirror desk or phone screen. Florence also suggested that each person choose a power word, a weekly anchor, that acts as an inner compass. Sample weekly power words. Week 1, ease. Week 2, receiving. Week 3, clarity. Week 4, overflow. Write your word on a small card. Carry it with you. Whisper it whenever you feel disconnected. James, an insurance agent in Florida, used to say, I have to make money fast, or else. But when he shifted to, I am divinely provided for in perfect ways. At the perfect time, he didn't just change his words, he changed his energy. He began calling clients from a place of peace. Result. In 30 days, he signed more clients than the previous quarter combined. But what he valued most wasn't the money. It was the calm presence he now carried at work. Florence encouraged us to look in the mirror, gaze into our own eyes, and speak slowly. I am the master of my thoughts and words. I choose beliefs that lead me to ease, sufficiency, and prosperity. Repeat it 3 times or as many as needed until your body feels the truth in every syllable. This week we begin the 7-day Power Word Challenge. Choose one word and share it in the comments. Write my power word. This week is your word. Let's spread a new frequency together. And if someone else chooses the same word as you, leave a heart to encourage them. We are building a space where words carry soul, and each person becomes the conscious creator of their reality. You've now learned how to speak right, choose right, and align your energy. But Florence held one more secret, something she called the law of non-resistance. What happens when you stop resisting circumstances and begin flowing with the universe? In the next chapter, we'll explore how adversity is not your enemy, but a bridge to the miraculous. And you'll see the more you release control, the more you receive. You do not need to fight the river. Let it carry you, and you will arrive exactly where you're meant to be, faster than you imagined. Florence Scovel Shinn. Florence taught that our true power does not lie in forcing circumstances to change, but in mastering our inner state so circumstances no longer shake us. This mastery dominion is the ability to remain steady, not to react in panic, not to resist, not to scramble, but to move with a strength that is soft to release in order to receive, to relax in order to rise. And when you release resistance, something miraculous happens. The universe begins to move on your behalf. Carla's story, a small bakery owner in Colorado, is a beautiful illustration of dominion. For 3 years, she tried to expand her shop, attract investors, and pitch her plans. Nothing flowed. One day, after reading The Game of Life, Carla stopped all forceful effort. Instead, she began each morning with this affirmation, I release all resistance. I allow goodness to unfold in magical ways. She stopped sending emails. She stopped chasing investors. But she kept baking with pure joy. On day 12, a producer from a national food TV show happened to visit her shop. 3 months later, Carla appeared on a nationwide program, and doors opened effortlessly. Not because she pushed the universe, but because she let it move freely. Florence called this the law of non-resistance, one of the most powerful spiritual principles, yet deeply misunderstood. When you resist, you strengthen the very thing you wish to avoid. When you accept not in defeat, but in peace, you create space for miracles. What you resist persists. What you harmonize with dissolves in the light. Florence Scovel Shinn. Daily practice of dominion. Step 1. Observe your reactions. When something triggers you, pause. Just notice. Don't judge. Ask, is this reaction coming from fear or from inner mastery? Step 2. Affirm dominion. Use Florence's favorite affirmations. I am not ruled by circumstance. I am the master of my own mind. I do not need to resist. I simply stand strong in my faith. Step 3. Replace I must with I choose to trust. Instead of I must make money fast, try I choose to trust that money comes in perfect time. I am being guided. This week, pay attention to one moment when you release resistance and receive something beautiful in return. Share it in the comments I choose dominion. And here's what happened. Tap hearts on the stories that inspire you, and let's expand this field of gratitude together. You have now learned how to transform thoughts, speak with intention, reprogram your subconscious, and embody dominion. But there is one final key, Florence whispered, only to the willing forgiveness and energetic freedom. Florence taught that when your heart holds on to resentment, it blocks your receiving flow. So how do you forgive, not just in the mind, but in vibration? In our next part, we will open the door to inner liberation and the unceasing flow of divine supply. The one who cannot forgive will never unlock the treasures of the soul. Forgiveness is not for the other, it is for your freedom. Florence Scovel Shinn. Stuck energy and the door that won't open. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but the money still isn't flowing? You say your affirmations, you hold on to faith, and still, something feels blocked. Perhaps silently within you, there's a battle still going on, a betrayal by a friend, a broken business deal, or even guilt toward your own past self. Florence said, forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door of receiving, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. The 5-step forgiveness. Practice. From the heart. Step 1. Identify the person or situation. Write down the name, event, or even your own name. Don't analyze right or wrong. Just be honest. Prompt, I still feel tight when I think of... Step 2. Feel the hidden emotion. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. Ask, what am I really feeling about this anger, shame, betrayal, sadness? Breathe deeply. Let the emotion rise without judgment. Step 3. Florence's forgiveness statement. Speak slowly 3 times. I fully and freely forgive. Name or event. I am free and they are free. The law of forgiveness is working in my consciousness. I am released and prosperous. Repeat morning and night. Write it out if it helps. Let the vibration of those words sink into every cell. Step 4. Redirect your thoughts when they return. If the memory returns, don't scold yourself. Gently say, I choose to let go. I choose peace. I have forgiven. Emotions may not vanish all at once, but you command your response moment by moment. Step 5. Practice gratitude after forgiving. After each session, write down 3 things you're grateful for, even one about the person or lesson involved. Florence taught gratitude is the sign you've closed the old chapter and opened a new one. A true story, Monique's release. Monique, a 38-year-old nurse in Los Angeles, held resentment toward her ex-husband for 6 years. He had left, betrayed her, and abandoned their child with debt behind. She once said, I will never forgive him, ever. Then she read The Power of the Spoken Word and started repeating Florence's forgiveness words each night. By the 2nd week, Monique felt lighter. Not that she forgot, but she no longer clenched. A month later, she received a promotion with a 40% salary increase. But the most miraculous part, the recurring dreams she'd had about her ex for 3 years vanished. Monique smiled. Maybe I set him free and set myself free. What are you still holding that is asking to be released? Write in the comments I choose to forgive, or myself, and I am ready to be free. Use a nickname if needed. What matters is you've begun the healing. Tap hearts on someone else's post if you resonate, because when one person forgives, the entire field is lifted. And once you've forgiven, you'll feel it, a lightness, a space opening within you. And that space, It is the perfect place for new abundance to arrive. In our final part, we'll enter the deepest teaching Florence ever offered: spiritual surrender and the sacred art of doing nothing yet receiving everything. Get ready. What comes next isn't a technique, it's a way of being. When you truly surrender, you don't give up your power. You step into a power greater than yourself. Florence Scovel Shinn. Peace begins when you stop trying. We've walked through many layers: thought, word, action, forgiveness. And now we arrive at the deepest surrender. Not giving up, not resignation, but a sacred release of control, allowing yourself to be carried by the divine flow. Florence called this surrender to the divine design, letting go of the need to plan every step, and instead walking in trust that the universe already has the perfect map for your soul. True spiritual surrender is not weakness. It is escaping the loop of what must I do next, letting go of the grip on outcomes, returning to pure trust. And that's when the unexpected begins to show up. A surprise phone call, an opportunity you didn't seek, a creative spark after months of stagnation. Florence taught that which you let go of will return as a miracle. 3 ways to practice divine surrender. 1. Begin each morning with this affirmation: I surrender to the divine plan for my life. What I need to know will be revealed. What I need to do will be shown. What I need to have will come to me in perfect time and way. Repeat this each morning with the trust of a child who knows the universe will provide. 2. When anxiety rises, whisper, I choose to let go. When the mind begins to overthink, to strive to panic, pause and say, I choose to let go. I choose to trust. I've done my part now, I let the universe do the rest. 3. Act not from pressure but from peace. Surrender doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what you're guided to, without force, without fear. Let your actions come from a calm inner knowing, not frantic effort. Jonas's story: a surrendered artist. Jonas, a 3D artist in Seattle, had exhausted himself trying to sell his art. He sent emails, ran ads, contacted galleries. Nothing worked. One evening he wrote in his journal, I release all forcing. I surrender to the best and highest plan for my life. Show me the way. He stopped marketing. He painted only when inspired. 3 weeks later, a major art account on Instagram shared his work, and orders came from 6 countries in 2 days. Jonas wept not for the money, but because for the first time he felt free. Are you tired from trying too hard for too long? Have you trusted, worked, and still feel stuck? Comment below today, I choose to surrender to the divine plan for my life. If you've ever surrendered and witnessed a miracle, share your story. Your words may be someone's light. When you truly surrender, you no longer act from fear. You live from active faith. In the next part, we'll explore how to maintain a high vibration every day, not just when things are easy, but even in challenge. Florence will guide us in a simple but powerful method called Frequency Reset 3 Steps, to raise your vibration and return to divine alignment anytime, anywhere. When you dwell in a higher realm of consciousness, you don't need to chase or shout. Everything flows to you naturally. Florence Scovel Shinn. Why do we need to reset frequency? You can think positively, affirm faithfully, trust deeply, but if your vibration drops, stagnation follows. Frequency, your vibrational state, is the true signal you're sending every moment. Florence taught you don't need to strive to attract. You simply need to align. The universe does not respond to your words. It responds to your energy. Step 1. Observe without reacting. When worry or tension arises, don't rush to fix it. Just place your hand on your chest, take a deep breath and say, this is just a low signal. I am not it. I am simply observing. That act of calm awareness already lifts you to a higher state. Step 2. Replace self-talk with high-frequency commands. Instead of I'm exhausted, I don't know what to do, say I am being renewed. The answers are coming right on time. Florence recommended powerful affirmations like, I do not belong to anxiety, I belong to light. I choose trust over analysis. Words are tuning forks. Use them to harmonize with the divine. Step 3. Activate high frequency with simple anchors. Everyone has an anchor, a small action that lifts your energy. Try one of these. A 5-minute sunlit walk, sipping tea slowly while reading one sacred page. Listening to Florence's favorite melodies like Ave Maria or Clair de Lune. Pair this action with a mantra. I am returning to my true energy, clear, gentle, and radiant. Brian's story. A gentle reset with big results. Brian, a high school teacher in Texas, carried the stress of a $74,000 student loan. He tried meditation side hustles online, selling, yet nothing moved. Then, one day, he watched a video on vibrational reset. He started a 3-step morning ritual, sitting in silence for 5 minutes, just observing, repeating I am divinely supplied each day, taking a 10-minute phone-free walk. After 21 days, he said, not only was my mind clearer, I started receiving ideas. A friend offered to invest in an online course he had once abandoned. 3 months later, Brian had repaid 30% of his debt with ease. Now it's your turn. Comment below. My vibration-raising action is meditation, walking, painting, journaling. If you don't have one yet, try something gentle today, then come back and share. When we uplift our vibration together, no one walks alone. You've now learned how to hold your frequency high every day. But Florence had one more invisible weapon: imagination guided by spirit. In the next part, you'll discover how to activate sacred visualization, not just dreaming, but living from the end within your inner world. And this truly is the magic behind your word as your wand. Imagination pulls the future into the present. When you see it with your inner eye, the universe begins building it for you. Florence Scovel Shinn. Imagination isn't just a dream, it's spiritual vision. Some think imagination is childish, but Florence called it the eye of faith. It's where you see what isn't yet, as if it's already done. When you imagine correctly, you reprogram the brain, impress the subconscious, and emit a clear frequency into the universe. In short, imagination is the bridge between desire and reality. How to imagine with soul. It's not enough to visualize being wealthy. The key is emotion. Florence taught. You must live in the feeling of your vision, even while it's just in your mind. Instead of simply imagining, I have $1 million, feel this. The joy of paying bills effortlessly. The confidence to support others. The peace of waking up knowing you're divinely provided for. Imagination must be felt, not just seen. 5-minute daily soul imagination practice. Choose a desired scene, e.g., you open an email and see unexpected income. Close your eyes. Add sensory detail. Colors, sounds, scent, light. Add deep emotion, heart-fluttering natural smile, tearful gratitude. Speak a power statement. I am living what I once dreamed, and I am worthy of it. End with 30 seconds of silent feeling. Let the energy anchor in. Practice daily for 21 days and watch the unseen become seen. Real Stories, the NYC Visualization Group. A small group in New York started a challenge 10 days, 30 minutes of imagination daily. Each chose one image. Lisa saw herself signing a speaking contract. Jonah visualized being debt-free. Claire imagined a buzzing coffee shop. Max simply saw himself dancing with joy. On day 7, Lisa got an email to speak at a conference without applying. Jonah received surprise compensation from a past job. Claire's cafe video went viral on TikTok. And Max. He called saying, I don't know why, but I've never felt this happy. I've created a free mini workbook plus guided video to help you. Identify your soul-aligned vision. Design your own imagery practice. Personalize your affirmations. Track emotional shifts daily. Click the link in the description to receive it. Don't just learn, practice with us. Join our 21-day visualization challenge. Every morning and evening, 5 minutes. Share one daily line in the comments. Let's co-create a collective field of inspired energy. Comment below, I'm joining the 21-day vision challenge. I'll pin your comment and you'll walk this path with kindred spirits. Now you know how to live from your soul vision, to dwell inside your dream before it arrives. But Florence taught one more key to accelerate manifestation. Gratitude is not for what you receive, but for what you cannot yet see. And still trust is already yours. In the next part, we'll dive into the art of pre-gratitude, Florence's sacred way of using thankfulness as the most powerful lever of the law of attraction. Everything you're seeking is seeking you, but you must be quiet enough to hear its gentle knock. Florence Scovel Shinn. We've walked this sacred path together, from your first morning words to spiritual thinking. Forgiveness, surrender, raising your frequency and living from soul imagination. But here's the truth. You don't need to do more to be worthy. You simply need to remember that everything you need has always been within you. Florence didn't teach us to add on, she taught us to release what limits. Not to become someone else, but to return to the divine image in which we were created. Take 10 seconds now. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. And whisper, I am ready. I don't need to understand it all. I just need to take one step in faith. You might not see results today, but you've already sent out a new signal into the universe. And as Florence said, the universe never misses an address. If you're still here, reading these final lines, this is no accident. Perhaps your soul has been waiting for this. A gentle yet firm reminder. You are light. You are worthy. You are being guided. This video wasn't created to be a monologue. It's an invitation to join a community where we rise together, heal together, and imagine something beautiful. Together. Comment below, I am beginning my journey of creation through faith. Or, the part that moved me most was, your words won't just be for me, they may be the light someone else is waiting for. Subscribe not for the numbers, but because every week I'll send you healing videos, soul affirmations, and Florence-inspired practices to help you stay in high vibration, live awake, and consciously create your reality. You are not alone. We are building a global network of light, one heart, one word, one breath at a time.